What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Corey Willis. Hope everyone out there is doing well on a Sunday evening. Hope you guys enjoyed week 10 of the college football season. So, yeah, guys, I hope everyone out there is doing well today. As always, guys, we appreciate you all listening to the show. You know where to find us. We're on a bevy of your favorite platforms. If you want to find us, we're on X, on TikTok, Instagram at BD Sportscast. You can find all of our content there. If you want to listen to us via podcast on a bevy of your favorite podcast applications, you can listen to us there. Just find the Breakdown Sportscast, and you can listen to all of our past and present episodes there. So wherever you're on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, we are on there. And also, if you're listening to us on our official YouTube channel, we appreciate it as always. We're also on Twitch at Breakdown Video Game Cast, with Chris and I playing some video games on there from time to time. So, yeah, as always, guys, we appreciate you all's support with the show. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the videos, to the content. It definitely helps Chris and I out in terms of engagement. And help us out, guys. We're trying to aim for that 100 subscriber mark. It will be a massive milestone for the show. So, yeah, guys, definitely do that. Tell your friends out there about us. Because if we can get to 100 subscribers, it would be great. What we will do, we will put your name into a raffle for a chance to win some free swag, courtesy of Chris and myself, in terms of your favorite team out there. So it will be a thank you from the both of us, and with all you guys' support out there. So definitely do that when you get a chance, guys. We appreciate your support. As always, you know I'm with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on? Just trying to enjoy this. It's Sunday as we're recording, so it's been a good day and enjoy some good football today, and we had some good football yesterday that we're going to recap. So quite had some interesting, conclusions how these games played out, and it was a fun weekend. So I'm ready to break it all down.
Absolutely, Chris. Yeah, this was a great week of college football. Of course, it definitely had some of his bangers out there. And look, I know a lot of people were kind of looking at this week and saying, where's the top games, where's the big games out there in the country. I mean, they were definitely there. You maybe wanted to see something else, but this weekend definitely did offer some entertaining games out there, with some matchups that we didn't think were going to pose threats to the potential CFP that's coming up on Tuesday, the first ever college football playoff rankings show that we'll definitely be tuning in, Chris. We'll probably have to do a live stream or something right after it just to kind of go over it. But yeah, man, it was definitely a great week of college football, and yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, exactly. So we got some upsets, and we got some teams narrowly escaping upsets. So you got everything you can ask for this weekend.
Absolutely, it's the gift that keeps on giving, especially as we're winding down this college football season, Chris. And we're definitely getting into the meat and potatoes of a lot of these games, and we're seeing a lot of these close games starting to come into fruition. So this is what we live for, and we couldn't be happier to delve into some of these games during week 10.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, before we delve into it, folks, we do have some breaking news. I'm sure some of you already have heard about the news. Yes, Auburn's Hugh Freeze is out after 2+ seasons with the Auburn Tigers. Chris, this was something that was brewing. I think the breaking point definitely was Auburn losing
Losing to
to
Kentucky.
Kentucky. And not just losing to them. They lost 10-3. Yes, folks,
To
that
this
was the
Kentucky
ending
team.
score to this Kentucky team. And something had to give, Chris. Something had to give. And at the end, I'm sure it was John Cohen, a lot of Auburn boosters. They had to make that decision. He just could not stay as the Auburn football coach any longer. This was a catastrophe at Auburn, and people were ready to wipe their hands clean from this whole experiment known as the Hugh Freeze experience. Like I guess who knows, but they were ready to wipe their hands clean of this. So, Chris, let me get your thoughts. What were your thoughts about this news that came out earlier this Sunday?
It wasn't a matter of if it would happen, it was just a matter of when. Felt like Hugh Freeze had been a dead man walking in Auburn for the last month or so with how the season has played out. And, losing to Kentucky, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. Um, it's a football program as proud as Auburn is. And, you feel like every 4 years or so, you should be competing for a championship. It's not like Alabama per se, but you can't go year after year after year of not beating Alabama. And it doesn't seem like this team was making the necessary strides to turn the corner and continue to get the support and the money to turn the corner. And if you're going to get that, you want to believe in the head coach. The coach went out there and picked out Jackson Arnold as his quarterback in his portal cycle. You brought in the top wide receiver in the portal, Eric Singleton Jr. Um, your defensive line is very stout, but we didn't see this offense make the strides that they should have taken under a guy who is known as an offensive head coach. And so it's unfortunate for Auburn, but it does feel like a necessary move because this was the year. And for everything that's been invested into this program, you weren't getting the result that you expected to yield. And so Hugh Freeze, he had to go, man. He had to go. This offensive line that they are putting on the field is unacceptable, and this continues to be a problem. This has been a problem for Auburn since Hugh Freeze has gotten to town. Year 3, you've had a couple portal cycles, a couple recruiting classes. I know it takes time for guys to develop, but you should have been able to get some guys out the portal to make this line competent. And we haven't seen that be the case, and we haven't seen Jackson Arnold, play the kind of ball that you should see a quarterback play with the weapons he has around him. So it is what it is, man. It's unfortunate for Hugh Freeze, but he didn't get the job done.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. And look, this is a guy that prided himself while he was at Auburn, Chris, and saying, like, look, we're going out here, we're recruiting the best guys possible to be a part of this team. It, this guy was it. Every time you heard him, he was talking about recruiting, and going out and getting top players around the country.
He said in media days this season we should compete to be
Yeah,
in the playoff.
yeah, he said it firsthand. And this is what you trot out here on a weekly basis. You get Jackson Arnold in. Yeah, hell, it's not even Jackson Arnold. You get a guy, a future guy. Us as Mississippi State fans, Chris, we talk about Camario Taylor. Deuce Knight was right behind Camario Taylor and being a future guy at the quarterback position. And you have this offensive line out here week in and week out They can't do anything. They can't can't block for anyone. Like, yeah, it's a reason why some of the top players, just really you hear about the leadership there. Like, there's stories about just Hugh Freeze's leadership on this Auburn team. Chris was not good. It felt like it was more about Hugh Freeze than it was about the players.
Hmm.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, and this is an opportunity that some probably say he didn't deserve. Well, clearly now he proved all those people right. You get fired from Ole Miss over Miss, and then you get this opportunity. This is kind of like I would say this is like your final chance to even be in the SEC to compete. At this point now, all of that was lost, and a change needed to be made, and they made one. The athletic director John Cohen and company, we know about him from Mississippi State. They had to make the decision, and they said that he was not capable of controlling this football team anymore. They had said that, and that's what ultimately made this decision. Um, yeah, it's just tough. It's tough because when you think about it, Chris, all of the talent that they brought in, we all thought that they were going to be a potential SEC um, champion in the SEC, a
Hmm.
possible
Hmm.
team that can make it into a college football playoff. All that's gone. All of that is lost just by he freezes on doing at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's rough. It's rough, but I will say this: shout out to the boosters by really cutting ties when they needed to, because it was starting to unravel.
Yeah. I mean, they were giving the guy a chance to win. I mean, this was a winnable stretch of games, and if you can't beat Kentucky, you're not going to beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl. And, there's no need in even seeing how that game plays out. Just go ahead and cut your ties and try to get ahead of this coaching search, because there's a lot of jobs available, high, marquee, high profile jobs that are open at the moment, and more to come. So you kind of want to go ahead and get on top of things when it comes to the search. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, you're right, man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that a lot of these players. Yeah, I just hear stories, Chris, about, like, I was listening to the War Report. Those guys do great work in covering the Auburn Tigers football team and just Auburn Tigers athletics in general. And yeah, it definitely puts things in perspective, Chris, in terms of when Damari Austin, running back Damari Austin, decided to redshirt this season
Hmm.
and not participate in the rest of the season with the team. Some people probably looked at that, and I mean, it isn't probably, they did look at that as like him quitting on his team, but it always felt fishy as to why things like that happen. And I got the quote here, Chris, from Hugh Freeze: Damari Austin failed to meet the expectations and standards of our program and is no longer on the team. Well, now you're no longer on the team. So it kind of puts things in it kind of makes you think, Chris. Like, was was Damari right? Did Damari see the signs? If he did, I'm sure he wasn't the only one. It
Right.
just, I think stuff like that definitely brought um all the tension in a full circle perspective, probably to John Cohen and the boosters. And yeah, this is what came of it. So yeah, like you said, they got ahead of this. There's a lot of other coaching vacancies out there that they're gonna have to compete with to get their guy. But I think Auburn overall, they had the resources. Um, yeah, I mean, say what you want to say about the tradition. I think nowadays that does mean a little bit less and less when you have teams out here like Indiana competing nowadays. Um, but overall, it is Auburn. I think you can find someone that wants to be at Auburn. So they're gonna have to put on the hard hat, Chris, and find that guy because it's a wild wild west out here in these college football coaching carousel streets.
Yeah, yeah. It's this will be a coaching carousel all season. We'll look back on because of how many vacancies there are. This is going to determine the trajectory of a lot of programs. So this will be one for the ages. So we'll see what they can do and what they can make happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, folks. Yeah, Hugh Freeze out at Auburn after about 2.5 seasons. I'd say about 3 seasons now. With the Tigers. Just unfortunate, but it's the world we're living in college football, Chris. If you don't meet your expectations, have to twist Hugh Freeze's words around, you're out of there. So it's the world we're living in now.
Yep.
So, but yeah, and that's all we want to kind of go over with that before we go over week 10 results. Uh, so, Chris, are you all ready to go over the week that was in week 10 of the college football season?
Let's do it.
All right, all right. Week 10 results. Had some really good games this week. We'll go ahead, Chris, and talk about the cocktail party in Jacksonville, Florida, Georgia. This was a game, Chris. It was going back and forth. I will say the Gators made this interesting, but in the end, someone had to win, someone had to lose, and Georgia found a way. What do you know? Like they always do. 24-20 was your final of this ball game, and Georgia survived, Chris. What are your thoughts about this game? Because man, there was a point in time I thought Florida they had Georgia right where they want them, but as you know, Gunner Stockton and company they find a way. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, this game didn't surprise me one bit, Corey. Leading up to it, what my sentiment was, my thoughts. Felt like it was going to be a battle. This is a Florida team fired up to play you know, their rival, and your head coach is fired. So I feel like we were going to see some different things offensively. Of course, Florida still has its flaws as a team, but we did see them play inspired football and made things tough for Georgia. Georgia's flaws, showed in this game. And if DJ Lagway puts a little more oomph on the ball, or if the SEC officials rule that it's a catch and not incompletion, we might be talking about a different outcome in this game, Corey. This It was a key play in the game where Florida had about a 40-yard bomb. It could have potentially been more or a touchdown, and referees deemed it an incompletion, not a catch. And it's tough because the video evidence did show that it seemed like it was a completion. Um, and that's just one of the few of the that's just one of the several SEC blunders, SEC officials blunders over the weekend. I mean, there was that imaginary ball crossing the pylon and a 2-point conversion for Vanderbilt in Texas that I'm sure had some people upset because it didn't look like Vandy got that 2-point conversion. But in the Florida Georgia game, the Bulldogs persevered, and in typical Kirby Smart Georgia fashion, they just find a way to win, man. They play sound football at the end of games, and Georgia could even win up another 7 points. Gunner Stockton decided to kneel the football, and just let the clock roll out. So, but shout out to Georgia, for finding a way to win. It ain't wasn't sexy, it wasn't pretty, but that's Georgia football this season. It's not pretty. It's effective. Yeah, it's getting the job done, but the Bulldogs haven't played pretty football this year, and at some point, it's just kind of who you are. I think Georgia fans and people who really have been watching this team play this season understand that this is Georgia. You're not getting that superstar monstars team on the field this year. This is just a really sound, really tough, for the most part, very disciplined football team that forces you to play sound football and to make minimal mistakes to win the game. And so we'll see how things continue to play out for Georgia, but it's a good win for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, yeah, a really good win. Look, I have to I have to tip my cap off to Georgia. They find ways to win um, like nobody else out there at the end of the day. Um, yeah, just a interesting way that we've seen Georgia win these ball games, and they've pretty much seen everything at this point. So yeah, it's definitely a great way for them to still persevere throughout the season because man, they're going to need it if they want to get far into the college football playoff picture. So shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs by taking care of business when they needed to because Florida was they were making it interesting and I have to tip my cap off to Billy Gonzalez. I know he didn't want to in the press conference he talked about moral victories and the coach speak, general coach speak of course, but I have to tip my cap off to him. These guys could have easily folded. Billy Napier's not there anymore. um Different voice is there, and they look like they responded in the best way possible, but they just couldn't seal the victory in this one. So the unfortunate thing about this game, Chris, we have a injury report that Florida had just lost their wide receiver, their young wide receiver, Dallas Wilson, for the season. I think last time I saw it, let me look it up. I don't think it's a ACL per se, but let me just look it up just so I can. Oh yeah, yeah, I see it. Yeah, he's gonna miss the remainder of the season, Chris, with a foot injury that was out about 2 hours ago, unfortunately. So, yeah, just tough, tough situations that just keep transpiring with the Florida football program. Wish that man well in a speedy recovery, just because Dallas Wilson is a heck of a talent, and I wish we would have saw him earlier in the season. He was going through an injury during that time, so we wish him the best of luck. But yeah, that was rough to also hear earlier today as well. So yeah, for Florida, just gotta keep fighting. And I know these guys are not gonna stop, especially now. I think Billy Gonzalez is a great voice for them to persevere to finish the season the right way. So we'll see what happens going forward for Florida overall. But nonetheless, a great game, great Georgia Florida game, and yeah, shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs, and we'll see what happens with them, Chris, next week.
Yeah,
Their grand prize. They got a game in Stark Vegas against Mississippi State.
yeah. And Mississippi State has the monkey off its back.
Mm-hmm.
Got a win in the SEC game. It's an interesting game. Interesting game. I mean, State has played everybody close that
Yeah,
they've lost to, basically, except for Texas A&M, and even that game was close.
Mm-hmm.
before A&M pulled away in the fourth quarter. But
Right.
they were up on Texas, up on Tennessee, had Florida dead rights. I mean, they've shown that they can play. So we'll see how this game goes. At the very least, I think it'll be a good game.
I think so too. I will say this before we move on, Chris. I mean, we talk about Georgia finding ways to win. Mississippi State, before their win against Arkansas, they were finding new and innovative ways to lose. So you kind of say they're opposite parallels of each other.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So
definitely.
something got to give.
Something does have to give, and maybe Mississippi State can make something happen in this one. Georgia secondary isn't how it normally is, and we see Mississippi State got some guys, got some receivers that can make some plays.
Yeah,
It'll be a revenge game for Anthony Evans too.
it will be.
He's a Georgia transfer. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. So uh, I'm interested, and it's an 11 a.m. kickoff, Chris. Will Georgia be that motivated going into that game,
Hey,
or
they're gonna have to wake up fast and in a hurry because them cowbells gonna get to clanging.
at
That'll
11
wake you
a.m.?
up.
Oh man, no night games or anything. You gotta wake up early in the morning, hear those
Just to hear them
cowbells
bells.
clanking. So
Yeah.
good luck, Kirby. Oh man, but yeah, we will definitely we'll probably be talking about that game later on in the week, Chris. But yeah. Overall, great game indeed. This past weekend. So, anything else, Chris? You want to mention about this game before we move on?
No, sir.
All right. Well, moving along, we have Oklahoma. They had to travel to Rocky Top, Chris. And would you look at that? Oklahoma escapes Rocky Top with the victory. 33-27 was your final score in this ball game. And I have to give a shout out to Oklahoma and John Mateer. I think John Mateer played probably one of his best games in this game on Saturday, Chris. He looked like the John Mateer that we saw earlier in the season. He was making the right plays, passing and running the football effectively as well. Yeah, he just looked more comfortable in this ball game, Chris, and I was happy to see that because man, he the last couple weeks since him coming back from his hand surgery, he did not look comfortable. He just didn't look like himself, and I think this was the first week in a while of seeing him kind of settle down, play better football, and it paid dividends in their victory. So, shout out to John Mateer, shout out to Brent Venables because this Tennessee team, had opportunities. Chris, they looked like they almost had an opportunity, to potentially score, and try to win the game, and yeah, they took advantage of it, got out on some lucky breaks, and they definitely quieted the crowd when they needed to win this ball game. So shout out to Oklahoma for the victory. What were your thoughts about this game, Chris, on Saturday?
Yeah, definitely want to give a shout out to Oklahoma for staying poised and taking advantage of mistakes when the opportunity came up to do so. Tennessee was on the verge of actually they was about to blow this game out of water early on. They were up big, up double digits, driving, Corey, driving, and had the ball. I want to say almost in the red zone. An assignment was missed by the right tackle, allowing a free rusher to come in. And I don't know how he messed up and did that assignment too. Because when you look, you see the play. It's like you're the right tackle. You're going to have the outside leverage. You're going to get the guy coming off the edge. So why are you helping up? I don't understand. But He let the free rusher come in, try to turn around and hold him and get him at the last second. And then next thing you know, Aguilar gets hit, fumbles the ball, and Oklahoma scoop and score. And that changed the game.
Yep.
The game was changed from that point on. And it, good teams take advantage of opportunities like that and find a way to go win the game. And that's what they did. Tennessee never got back in rhythm. It was like their whole flow was messed up, and Tennessee's a team that prides itself on flow and rhythm. Yeah, you usually associate that with like basketball, like a team gets going in basketball because it's an up and down sport. But Tennessee offensively, when we especially with this veer and shoot, it's so weird and how that works. But truly, when they get out of their flow, this team is not the same team. And Oklahoma got them off their rhythm, and Mateer did his thing, played some great ball, really controlled the game, and they won this game as a team, offensively and defensively. And so Oklahoma continues to keep its playoff hopes alive. Um, that seat it cools down a little bit for Venables. Um, this was a much needed win for Oklahoma, especially when you look at everything they have invested in this season, Corey. There's a lot riding on the line in this season for the Sooners. So for them to go to Tennessee and get this win, that helps to set them up for what's going to be a big matchup. They got a couple big matchups going on the rest of the season because I want to say they got LSU left on the schedule, and you still have a date with Alabama left on the schedule, I believe. So you needed this one. You needed this one to get to still win on the road too like this. That's big. So the Sooners right there in the mix, Corey. We can't count them out yet. They still have life, still have hope to make that playoff.
That they do. And yeah, like you said, Chris, this was a major game for Oklahoma, just like it was for Tennessee. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. But for Oklahoma, you can kind of rest easy at night for a little bit longer, kind of regroup, get better at some things, and try to finish this season out the right way. Yeah, you still have a battle against Alabama on November the 15th, and then of course you'll finish the season against LSU. So those are some games that you have to get through as well, and you also do have to play Missouri as well. Don't can't forget about Missouri. So yeah, there's still work to be done, but you need to get through this game after losing to Ole Miss the week prior to even still try to say, hey, we got a chance. The chance is still there. You just got to seize the moment and handle your business because these next 3 weeks coming up, yeah, it's definitely going to test your might. And I know Brent Venables, he knows that. He's probably telling these guys that. It's definitely going to test them. So, hey, they got to come out all hands on deck to try to compete in the best way possible. And can they do that? I think they can. I think they can as long as a guy like John Mateer plays the way he did this um, this past Saturday. I think they'll be fine. So yeah. Congrats to the Sooners for getting that W for Tennessee's um, side of things. Yeah, I think this pretty much cements you being out of any college football playoff discussion, unfortunately. But hey, you got Joey Aguilar, which is a very capable quarterback. I think you got some pieces there. I mean, you definitely you've been recruiting very well. I think they need to focus on that. trying to finish out the season the right way and, run this back next season if they can. So
Yeah,
it's
and
tough.
they will.
Yeah. So
They have a good foundation set. A lot of people weren't expecting them to be in the mix because of
right.
losing Nico Iamaleava. So
Mm-hmm.
for them to be playing as well as they have been has been impressive. Yeah, I think this team will only be better next season. I mean, they still are a good team now, but you know, I think next season is going to be might be a little scary because a lot of these boys will be back.
Yeah. Yeah. So
They
so
lost a lot last season.
yeah, they did. They lost a lot, but they brought back a good group of guys for this season as well. So I think they'll be back. I don't think this is going to be the last time you're going to hear about Tennessee's name. Um, in the SEC in the college football playoff discussion. They're definitely going to knock some doors down and potentially work their way back up and getting the opportunity. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But anything else, Chris, you want to add to this game before we move on to our next game?
No, sir.
All right, all right. Moving along on the show, as always, guys, we appreciate you guys listening in on the show. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what was your top game from Saturday, top moments from Saturday. We love to hear your feedback. Now, Chris, we're going to head into this game. We're still in the SEC. Vanderbilt traveled to Austin, Texas to take on the Texas Longhorns. This was a game, Chris, that got interesting in the end. But overall, Texas squeezed out of this game with the victory. 34-31 was your final score in this one. And shout out to Arch Manning, Chris, because he played a heck of a ball game. He had 3 touchdowns in this game that he was responsible for. And he just overall, Chris, he looked like the Arch Manning that we've been waiting for. He played a complete ball game, and he controlled this game as the conductor of the Longhorns offense to take out Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt that's riding high this season. That I think they're still a really, really good football team. They definitely showed that towards the end because they made it interesting. And yeah, after what happened last week, where Texas almost lost that game against Mississippi State, they responded in a big way, Chris, in beating the Commodores. And yeah, I have to tip my cap off to Arch Manning, to Steve Sarkisian. They could have easily folded, but they fought like hell to win this ball game. And hey, they live to fight another day, Chris.
Yeah. No, they set the tone early. The same play that worked on Mississippi State. I don't know if Vanderbilt watched film from that game or not, but they let that same Ryan Wingo little swing pass just go 75 yards on them to start the game.
I saw it. I was like, this is the same play from last week.
yeah, same exact play. I'm like, did they not watch the film? Like,
Yeah,
how would they?
nothing's changed.
But yeah, Texas executed early on, and we said whoever sets the tone to start this game, that's going to probably be the team that wins. And Texas set the tone early, and were to the point where they could drop 21 points in the fourth quarter and still win the game. Um, Vandy came charging back, but it wasn't enough. Too little, too late. And Texas gets the win. So definitely shout out to this Texas team for coming in ready to play, locked in early. Um, yes, they let Vandy get back in the game, but if you watch this game, you knew Texas wasn't going to lose. Texas had this one, in hand, and the Longhorns are an interesting team. Because if they continue to improve, they have the talent to play with anybody. It's just a matter of can they execute and play to that talent that they have. And week by week, maybe this is a turning point for Texas. They look much better this week than they did to start the Mississippi State game. Again, they found their rhythm late in that game. They carried over into this game. Have they played a full 4 quarters yet? No. But we'll see how this team continues going forward because they got the guys. The talent is there. It's just a matter of can they play to their potential. And so that's why I want to see can Texas do so.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean that's where we're at with this team, Chris. They're so interesting that they find ways to win. It's very reminiscent of Georgia at this point. And they also sometimes find ways to lose games as well. They're not the perfect team by any stretch of imagination. I think we can say that. But they have their moments. It's just can they consistently put that together on a week to week basis? That's what we've been trying to find out, and I just don't think they can really do that this year. But I think honestly, they don't really need to at this point when they find ways to strain and win ball games in the way that they need to. So, um, yeah, I think for this Texas team, um, and Texas fans out there, they just have to just kind of learn to live with it at this point. It may put you on edge, but hey, this is this is this year's team, and as long as they're winning ball games and they're finding ways to play with each other, that's really what's important. But it's gonna be interesting to see when they play A&M at the end of the season, Chris. If that doesn't bite them or not, because man, A&M they've been playing very very well this season, and it's it's kind of hard to look at their game early and say, oh, Texas can make all these mistakes, and I think they'll still find ways to beat A&M. And look, this is a different A&M team this year. I think they can make you pay. So, and I know that's a couple weeks off, but in beating Vanderbilt, it definitely was important. Definitely a big step for them to move throughout the rest of this football season. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. This was a big game for both teams, and Texas they like we say they keep hope alive. They still can make the playoff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they
hasn't been
definitely
pretty,
can.
but it's a team that can maybe they'll peak in November. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's still time. Anything can happen. It is the college football playoff. At the end of the day, anyone can, you know, find their find their way into this playoff. Backdoor their way into this playoff. So we'll see what happens. For Vanderbilt, tough one, of course. They got 2 losses, but hey, if who knows if they can win out, maybe they can find themselves in a position where maybe they can, you know, kind of give themselves a reason to say, hey, we're still one of the top 12 teams in the country. I know it's a stretch, but who knows? Anything can happen. That's the reason why you play the games. It could be a lot of chaos out there that could cause that at the end of the day. So the last 3 games, they have Auburn, Kentucky, both at home in Nashville, and then they have to head to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. So who knows, Chris? Who knows? Sky's the limit for the Commodores. So I wouldn't feel too bad if I'm a Vanderbilt fan out there. There's still a lot left to be played out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So. So yeah, man. Overall, we'll see what happens with both of these teams, but a big victory for Texas. I know people out in Austin um were on the edge of their seats because it got interesting.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm sure they were, but all's well that ends well in this case.
Yeah, yeah. So listen to Vanderbilt. Just jump on the ball. Just jump on the ball. It doesn't matter. Rain, rain, sleet, snow. Just jump on the ball. So we'll see what happens for both of these teams. But anything else, Chris? You want to add to this game before we move on?
No, sir.
All right, all right. Well, now we're about to head into some other Week 10 results, Chris. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about this game. Miami had to travel to Dallas, Chris, to take on the SMU Mustangs. We saw what happened with Miami against Louisville. They couldn't win that game in the end. Louisville stole that one. But what do you know? SMU stole this one on Saturday. 26-20 was your final in this one. I'm probably just as shocked as you were when you saw this final score, Chris. Pandemonium. Pandemonium struck in Dallas, and now we're looking at a Miami team that, quite frankly, Chris, we were looking at this team being up there with Ohio State. I didn't know who was going to beat Miami or if they could. Hell, this could have been a national championship game between Ohio State and Miami if what we had thought in like weeks 1 through 5
Mhm.
could have took place. Did not happen at this point. So with SMU taking down Miami now, Chris, what are your thoughts about the Hurricanes and just this massive flop that they've pretty much created down there?
Man, I have some questions about the culture because this is back to back seasons, Corey. I mean, they just keep finding they can't win these. They struggle to win these close games, and they struggle to dominate teams that I'm not going to say they should have just dominated SMU, but they are a better team talent wise than SMU, and they fail to do what the Ohio States of the world do. You don't have to worry about Ohio State losing to Minnesota, and Iowa, or Purdue, or Michigan State. The, not only just because of the talent gap, but just because of the execution gap. We don't see that with Miami, and they always end up in these games where there's highly contested, very tight games, and they've been ended up falling, on the short side of things where they get the L. And this is the MO for this program under with their head coach, so Mario Cristobal. Something gotta has to change, and I'm kind of questioning. I'm questioning the leadership of Carson Beck. Second, this is not the first time. It's the second time this season he's put his teammates, the other people, under the bus, and not taking the L head on himself. Kind of threw the coaches under the bus with this loss. Um, that's not what you want to see out of your quote unquote leader. Well, he is like a mercenary. This guy is getting paid, and he's like, I'll come play ball here. And it seemed like there were some things that didn't work out in the personal life, but that also took place with him coming to Miami. But when it comes to football, he does not seem attached to these guys, and that's a problem because that looks like it's playing out this season with just the way this team is performing in crunch time. And I just have some questions about Mario Cristobal and what the program's identity is, because you bringing in the guys, the money's being spent, the high school guys are being brought in. You know, you're bringing in good players. Why can't you finish the job?
Yeah, yeah. It's just a crazy story, Chris. I've heard so many things that's going on around with that Miami football program, just from people that's within the know, different content creators that have talked about it. And some of it is probably a little bit more um, you know not as out there as some of the other information, but yeah, just Mario Cristobal just like disrespecting like legends within the Miami football program and stuff. It's like it's becoming so much of a distraction at this point. Where wait, are you bashing criticism of the culture that you've created there? I mean, the culture is the culture. It's like you said, Chris. It it's definitely warranted its of it being analyzed at this point. Why aren't you handling your business when you're Miami? You got the resources, you got the players. Hell, we were raving about this team earlier this season. Why aren't you finishing games like this in ways that we know that you can? Yeah, I look at it as it's a culture that's not shifted on focusing on football and handling your business in the way that we know about the U. It's rough. It's rough, and quite frankly, I've seen the frustration of the Miami Hurricanes fans, Chris. They're tired of it. They've seen this way too much, and something has to give at some point because, man, this was not supposed to be a game that you lost, and you lost it. Simple as that. And now you got to turn the page and really have a analyze. What's the word? You have to analyze
And you
everything
got to
about your
come to
program.
Jesus.
Yeah. You got to
Yeah.
come to Jesus on all this, and really take a look at what your football program is about. And yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting what and how Miami kind of finishes the season, because now no one can really trust you at this point.
Yeah, and the ACC's wide open. Virginia found a way. Cal was right there in the game too, Corey, and they just had to throw a pick six at the end to seal the deal for Virginia to win it. But Cal still undefeated ACC. SMU in the mix with one loss. Tech lost to NC State, Georgia Tech. I mean, the conference is there for the taking. Miami just don't want to take it.
Yeah.
But hey, SMU said we here though. We defending champs, and shout out to Rhett Lashley. Got to the bag, got the extension, and put the cherry on top with the dub. So SMU's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Jennings is still there running the show at quarterback, um, and his experience showed. He wasn't phased by the moment, and honestly, it makes sense that SMU won when it's a close game. Who do you feel better about? The team that was the conference champs last season, or the team that's shown that it's in their MO to self destruct when the bullets start flying? And that's what happened, man. Another instance of Miami shooting itself in the foot. You're right there at the 5 yard line, and Carson Beck throws an interception. You can't have that, especially when you're a fifth year guy. I believe I want to say Carson's a 5th year guy. You can't have that.
No, no, you can't have that at all. It's just totally unacceptable. Of finishing drives and you being a fifth year senior, and yeah, you could probably say like the throw wasn't totally on him, but he's still the quarterback. He threw the pass. He has to own up to it. Of course, it's just tough at the end of the day. Like you gotta be better than that,
Hmm.
Miami. So yeah, man. But hey, I'll give SMU this. Shout out to them. They found ways to win this ball game. And yeah, like you said, Chris, Red Lashley before this game got an extension, and then you go out here and you beat Miami. Look, I gotta give you the praise off that.
Money well deserved,
Yeah.
well earned.
Exactly. I mean, how many coaches would you know right after doing something like that? Getting the contract extension on the day of, they go out there and they win you a big ball game, take down a team like Miami. Yeah, look, that doesn't happen often, Chris, but Red Lashley definitely was like, hold my beer. I'll be right back.
He said, "I'm gonna show y'all why y'all paying me." So,
Exactly. Exactly. So look, I gotta give him a great shout out. His football team came to play, and I won't necessarily say like SMU, bottom of the barrel team. Of course, like this team went to the playoffs last season, so still have a lot of great players. Some of the players came from Miami. Some of that staff came from Miami. Chris, I forgot all about Red Lashley being at Miami prior. So yeah, it's a great moment just to see him, out there cheering with the fans and just letting that moment sink in. He's definitely done a great job at SMU, and my time of seeing Red Lashley, of course, was at Auburn. And you think about it now, Chris. Hugh Freeze going. I wanna I wonder as the Auburn faithful kind of looking back, think about Red Lashley's time at Auburn, being like, damn it, I love to have Red Lashley back here on the plane. So, hey, you live and you learn, I guess. So yeah, man. But just a big victory for the Mustangs in this ball game.
yes, sir.
So yeah, man. Anything else you want to add to this game before we move on?
No, sir.
All right, all right. We got two more games. We'll go ahead. We'll go to this game real quick, Chris. Another one in the SEC. South Carolina took on Ole Miss. Ole Miss won this game 30-14. The Rebs are still trying to jock for a position in the SEC race, Chris. Just a great win by Lane Kiffin, by Trinidad Chambers, by taking care of South Carolina. It got a little interesting going into halftime, but Ole Miss pulled away with the victory like they always do. And now they're 8-1, 5-1 in conference play. And now they pretty much just have the Citadel, Florida, and the Egg Bowl to finish out the season. So, what were your thoughts, Chris, about this ball game?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much about this one because it's South Carolina. I mean, good win for Ole Miss. You know, they closed the show in the fourth, and if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're happy how they closed the show. It was looking a little dicey there for a moment, but yeah, big performance by the Rebs, and getting the W, and you just want to take care of business going forward. For South Carolina, Mike Shula is now out as offensive coordinator. And I'm curious to see what happens with Shane Beamer if he sticks around, um, or if he takes a Virginia Tech job. Because I just feel like I think he's going to take the Virginia Tech job personally. But tough season for South Carolina fans, man. The team ain't it. This team is stinky.
Yeah, I'm just floored by how bad this football team is. And look, I had South Carolina going to the playoffs. I had them in a playing. Well, it wasn't a playing game. It was a literal first round game against LSU in my predictions, and which would have been a fun game, if all the stars aligned. But that's either say no there. Um, yeah, I'm just disappointed because we had so many high expectations for the South Carolina team. You brought back all of these players on defense, Lenore Sellers, of course, these receivers, and it just didn't come together like we thought, Chris. And that's what just makes this disappointing in the end. Is that they couldn't compete in the way that we had thought that they would. So yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. We'll see what happens with Shane Beamer. It's a possibility. He's probably is looking at that Virginia Tech job now and saying like, hey, I can do that. I think I can win there in the ACC. If so, we'll see. We'll see. But man, uh, hate that for South Carolina fans because I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for.
Yeah, no, hey, last year was the year.
Yeah,
Just to be honest, last year was the year.
yeah. So yeah, man. But for Ole Miss, yep. Like I said, you got the W. That's all you need. Got 3 more games now. We'll see what happens going forward. So, yeah, man. We will see what happens. But we got one more game, Chris, that we'll delve into. We'll go ahead and go into it now. We have Cincinnati taking on Utah. This is a night game, Chris. It was a interesting game that I definitely wanted to watch, and I know you did too. This was right around the time of World Series, the Dodgers getting that W back to
Yeah.
back. This game was on. I could I could sleep at night at that point, Chris. Seeing the Dodgers win that ball game. So Utah overall they won this game 45-14. Utah now they're riding high in the Big 12 conference, Chris. And now I look at Utah as being a definite dark horse now in this one. And look, we'll see what happens with Cincinnati. They got one loss in conference play. They can definitely watch everything burn in the conference to try to get an opportunity back in this. They got that BYU Texas Tech game to watch next week. They'll be talking about that one. But yeah, it's just a great win for Utah in battling in this one against a good Cincinnati football team, Chris.
Yeah, no, Utah. We know what Utah is, man. Utah plays sound football. They play tough defense. They grind you out, run the football, and um, that's what they did in this one. They played Utah football, simply put, and made life tough for Cincy. And the Cincinnati team's come a long ways. They definitely made some strides this season, but Utah proved, Corey, there's levels to this. And, since he just isn't at Utah's level, since Utah's been doing this year in and year out um, under Whittingham. So this is this was just honestly another Saturday for Utah. Respectfully, to Cincinnati, but like this is just what Utah kind of does. You give when this team has the tools in place to play their brand of football, they win. And it's going to take a really good team, a talented team, to beat Utah because they make these games ugly. It's not the most entertaining brand of football, but it was a fun weekend to be a Utes fan. They put up 41 points, Corey. That's a good day in the office.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, and this Utah team can put up a lot of points if you let them. And look, I have to, give a shout out to just Devin Dampier. I mean, even though he didn't play like the greatest game ever. He was 16 for 31 with 2 touchdowns and an interception. He could have played better, but um, and seeing him when he is clicking on all cylinders, he's he definitely brings a level of athleticism to
He's a little
the
more of a
quarterback
playmaker. He
position.
does
Yeah,
raise the ceiling for
you're
this
right.
Utah team.
Right. And look, when we saw Cam rising for 800 years there in Utah, it felt like he would never leave. Yeah, he was a fighter, but Devin Dampier he's a different athlete than a Cam Rising, and you need guys like that in order to get you in positions to be really good football teams, and that's a really good football team in Utah right now. That's trying to battle their way into a Big 12 um, conference championship berth. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the rest of the conference. But like I said, that BYU Texas Tech game is definitely going to be something that both of these teams this past Saturday are going to be paying close attention to.
Yes, sir.
So so yeah. So yeah, that was everything that happened in week 10 of the college football season, Chris. It was a bevy of games for sure. A lot of great stuff that happened. Like you said, Mississippi State, they got themselves a big win against Arkansas. I know Arkansas has been playing well, but a big victory that the Bulldogs needed over the weekend, Chris.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. People in Starville can sleep a little better, a little easier at night.
Absolutely. Look, after all of the the heartbreak that you've gotten the last couple weeks, look, you needed a big victory like that. So, hey, gotta
And
tip
you
my
better
cap.
have won because that quarterback change. If you
Did not
don't win,
understand it.
Corey, it is a whole different conversation that we are having. And I don't know if Jeff Levy is ready for that conversation we will be having if they didn't win.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, partner. Yeah, there was definitely an interesting um amount of events that happened in that ball game with Shapen going out and then Camaro Taylor going in, and he scores two. He scores in two of your three drives with him out there, and then you bring out Blake Shapen again. It's kind of like, what are you doing? So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, that was interesting, but hey, they found a way to get the victory, and hey, now they can get ready for a great day potentially against Georgia. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We had Louisville beat Virginia Tech 28-16. Texas Tech, still alive right now, 43-20. They beat Kansas State. So yeah, NC State, Chris. I look at NC State as like the Mississippi State of the ACC. When in doubt, you don't want to play NC State in their home turf. They beat Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one, 48-36. So, yeah, who says that week 10 wasn't going to be a great week? I think for the most part, excellent week of college football over the weekend.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
So yeah, man. Well, before we had to head out of here, folks, we got Chief of the Week for week 10 of the college football season. Chief of the Week of week 10. I have to give this award to this gentleman, Chris. It has to go to Arch Manning. is his first ever Chief of the Week award. Oh man. He was 25 for 33, 328 yards with 3 touchdowns, and he ended the day with a 93.1 QBR. So, shout out to Arch Manning for stepping up to the plate. He had a great day, Chris. He's one of the major reasons why Texas won this ball game against Vanderbilt over the weekend. And hey, like I said, Texas fans can live another week, with an opportunity to try to still fight for a college football playoff spot. So, still got some games left, but big win against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, like we said earlier, Arch definitely played well, and as much criticism as he gets, you gotta give him his flowers when he does play well.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to him. This is us giving him his roses. Good job against the Doors, and you'll have to continue to play at this level for Texas to reach the heights that the Longhorns want to. And so don't let this be a 1 week thing. Let's keep this. Let's ride this high and keep the momentum going. And hopefully this is a turning point for Arch in his arc this season.
Yes, Arch's arc. Got a nice ring to it. So yeah, man. Let's see if see what Arch Manning can do the rest of the season, Chris. A couple more games, but still a lot of opportunities to try to make their way into a college football playoff berth. So it's gonna get interesting.
Oh yeah.
So we will see. We will definitely see what will happen going forward. But that's it, Chris. Another great week. Week 10 is in the books, and now we're going to focus over to week 11 of the college football season. We got a lot of great games coming up this weekend. Like I said, BYU and Texas Tech is going to be a game. Alabama is going to be back playing up against LSU. We want to see, which LSU team are we going to get? We're going to get a defeated, broken down LSU team, or are we going to get a totally different LSU team that's happy Brian Kelly isn't there anymore, rejuvenated? So, who knows? We got a lot of great games coming up this weekend, but we will definitely be talking about that on our prediction show on Friday. So, yeah, guys, be sure to be tuned in to that. But before we get out of here, Chris, we got some outros. Let the good folks know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Chris_Bolton_12 and on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_. Holla at your boy.
Awesome. And yeah, folks, you can find me on X at Listen to KSW, all one handle. I'm on there talking college football, professional wrestling. We just had Saturday night's main event that had went on over the weekend, and CM Punk champion, Cody Rhodes is champions, Jay Cargill champion, everybody from AEW champion. Oh man, I know you had to see that picture of all of them, together with the championship.
All the champs flexing the belts. Yeah, shout out to Jade. Hopefully they keep building her. And I don't think her matches are gonna last long, Corey. I think her match is gonna be like Brock Lesnar's.
It's definitely
in and out.
Definitely looking like that now. She's being treated like the Brock Lesnar of the women's division.
Like a powerhouse.
Yeah, man. So look, we'll see what happens. But guys, definitely follow me on there. But guys, we appreciate you all listening to the show as always. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our channels. It's definitely important for Chris and I as we build and grow this community together. And guys, we will be back, like I said, on Friday for our live, our prediction episode of the Breakdown Sportscast. So we'll be talking about week 11 of the college football season. So yeah, definitely be sure to be tuned in to there, and we'll be back next Sunday for our live edition as we'll go over the week that was in week 11 of the college football season. So we'll be sure to tap in with y'all then. But for Corey Willis, Chris Bolton, you are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will chat with y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.